First time I saw Bill, he was sitting at a bar in an Eagles hall, and I'm trying to make conversation with this fellow who wasn't hardly acknowledging me at all, and I thought, well, too bad, mister. And so I was more than happy to go into dinner when the time came.
We finally danced a little bit, not much, and there was no particular enthusiasm from either one of us, I don't think. Just enough to kind of get us off the ground.
Now, Dad acknowledged that he thought I was a little bit too tall for him, but I might be a new source of friends, you know.
I said, you know, you've got a lot of friends, nurses, and I know that guys love to take nurses out. They're always a fun date.
He said, you get a couple of your friends and I'll get a couple of mine. And, you know, how would you like to go to Wicker Park, which was an amusement park and just over the border in Indiana? He showed up with Jim McCrone and Ed Hannon. And so they paired off with these other girls, and he with me, somehow or another. I think they were all tall, maybe, and he knew me already.
One of the girls that was there was a really hot number, a ba-ba-boom type. And the guys were all kind of falling over themselves, you know, trying to get a date with her.
I was on the roller coaster, and I'm scared to death, and he didn't even put his arm around me. I thought, some date this is.
It was a little close quarters, and I thought, you know, I ought to be a gentleman and not try and take advantage, but it was the best thing next to snuggling, I guess, at that time. I didn't really have any intentions of a long-term dating situation. I can't say that I did, but I did call her in a couple of weeks.
He asked me, would I like to go to Riverdale Pool? It's so hot. And I thought, I don't even have a swimming suit. So I just stood in the water and watched him swim and show off his tan and everything. 2 days later, he called me again. And from then on, he called me almost every day.
They weren't big dates. I didn't have a lot of money, but we went downtown once, and we hadn't had anything to eat. The only place to eat was a place that was very expensive, and I didn't have that kind of money on me. I think we ended up in a pizza parlor or some kind of a glorified hamburger stand on Rush Street, which was the place to go, you know. She must have thought I was the cheapest guy on earth. It was not a long courtship, and somewhere along the line, we seemed to just hit it off very well, and I kept thinking more and more, you know, this is the kind of girl I want for a wife. And there wasn't any doubt in my mind about that. But I was still a bachelor, 30 years old, and it didn't come spontaneously to me. Let's get married, you know.
Well, I had a dinner party. People left probably about midnight, and he said he would stay and help wash the dishes and all. And we're in my mom and dad's kitchen, and we're just talking, and I suppose we were necking a little bit. Said, you know, everybody else has gone to bed. He's talking to me very quietly. He says,
will you marry me? She said, what?
And I thought, did I hear him right? And so I said, what did you say?
And I repeated it, and she still didn't hear me.
And he looked like, oh, come on. Do I have to say, you know, I mean, like, this is pretty important, and you didn't hear it?
So I finally had to get really up in her ear, and I said, will you marry me?
And then so I said yes right away. He proposed December 10th. We got married June 10th. 6 o'clock in the morning I woke up. It was pouring rain. I couldn't believe it. But you know, it cleared, and by noon, our wedding was at noon, it was already like 90 degrees. And then we came outside, and I can remember probably at that point saying goodbye to everybody as they were going back home. My face was frozen from smiling so much, and I was roasting in the heat. We all were.
Everybody did have a good time. And eventually, towards the end of the evening, it was time for us to leave to go on a honeymoon. And we go out to get in the car, and I start driving, and all of a sudden it's going bam, bam, backfiring. I thought, oh, this is great. Here's the car going bang, bang, bang. It isn't like we're driving to some hotel or whatever for our honeymoon suite. That would have been embarrassing enough to go into the parking lot. I had to pull in right next to what would be our neighbors. Bang, bang, bang. And here I'm coming down the alley. I thought this damn car is not going to make it to the garage. So, fortunately, it did.
So I settled down to being a homemaker, and I remember Betty Crocker cooking for two was my Bible. It was just delightful how they'd plan your menu for the evening, you know, everything that went together. And I had a lot of babies, and those were happy times.
We had our 3 boys and our 3 girls, and only goes to show birth control works. Their accomplishments are diverse, totally diverse. I mean, no two are alike.
Dad has really felt that they all learned to work hard. And in so doing, I think they have been successful in what they've tried to accomplish. You know, they are industrious, and he's very proud of that.
All of our children seem to have ended up with solid mates, good people, you know, good head. Having grandchildren is wonderful. We're very fortunate. What made it work? I think intellectually we're very compatible. Alice is a book-smart woman to an extreme, I think. Not derogatory. It's just that I had no idea until many years we were married as to how much he had accomplished academically. I always say, you're the book girl, I'm the street guy.
I am very impressed with how knowledgeable he is on things that probably missed a lot of conversations with him when we were super busy with children or whatever, you know. He's very interested in world politics and in the financial scene, and he does get ticked and expresses himself verbally.
We loved each other, though at times that could be strained.
We trusted one another and respected one another. Obviously, you love one another.
To say it was love, I think, is an understatement. That's great, but...
I acknowledged him as the head of the household. I believe in women's equity and all, but somebody has to be the decision maker.
We both had a deep faith in the commitment of marriage, stick-to-itiveness, and I don't want to forget good humor. And we've had some occasions where it was really a godsend to be able to laugh in the face of what we thought was disastrous circumstance.
I think my personality has probably grown. I was really much quieter and complementary to his more vivacious personality. And maybe now we've almost reversed roles. He's tired of talking and I'm doing all the talking. You know, we really didn't have a lot of friction. If anything, it's when I'm driving or he's driving and there are comments made. And I will willingly turn the wheel over to him if he doesn't like what he's experiencing. But
Once we became empty nesters, I was very close to retirement time, and then I retired on top of that. That was tough on me. I was looking for people to give direction to, I guess. I don't know. But it got a little dull. You know, I love a challenge. And
we used to walk in the evening and rehash what we knew about each one. I mean, there wasn't always sunny skies, you know, so, yeah, but we were lonesome.
But that just began to smooth out a little bit, and fortunately for us, our health has been reasonably good. We all both have issues, but Alice takes fantastic care of me to the point where, you know, you drive me nuts sometime. But what's the best time of marriage? Probably now. It would be nice if we both were younger. Yeah, I love her madly. What can I say? You're going to get me teary. The only thing I wish that I could say, hey, we got another 15, 20 years. That's why I try and take care of myself, too. I want to be around for her and her for me.